We were sitting at my friend's house and everything was fine. Just got the TV on and just, you know, having tea. And then my friend's grandma called her and she said, there's something happening in Ankara. They're not allowing us to leave. And my friend turned around and said, Grandma, what's happening? Why aren't they allowing you to leave? Who are they? And she said, something bad is happening. Istanbul is my first love. I fell in love with this city when I was in year 10, when I was 16 years old. And one day I said, I'm going to move to this city and live there. And it stole my heart so much that it's been 2 years since I've been living in this city.
Evet, buyurun.
Istanbul's loud, it's busy. Sometimes you want to pull your hair out because it's crazy. But at the end of it, it's peaceful because it's your home. Well, it is my home now. You can just, I don't know, like the way I look at Istanbul is just, maybe you can't really explain Istanbul. I can't explain it. Like you need to feel it. You need to feel, you know, the air, the breeze, and the water, the people, the culture. You need to feel it. You need to see it. You need to embrace it. I can't explain it. When people ask me, like, why did you move to Istanbul? Oh, I fell in love with it. Okay, is it because of something else? No, it's because I actually fell in love with this city. People didn't understand because they never felt it. They never embraced what I experienced. We all got scared and we're like, what's happening? Like, what's happening to the grandma? What's happening to our friend's grandma? And then we opened news channel. And first thing that we saw was the Bosphorus, the bridge, and the army all lined up. And we thought, what's going on? Is this a terrorist attack? Is what's happening? And then below, it didn't really give information. So the news wasn't, it just said, you know, the military is out on the bridge and they're trying to secure something. But what? There was no confirmation, there was no answers, and it was kind of scary. Later saw that it was a coup attack, so an attempt coup attack, and we thought, oh my god, what is that? I had no idea what it meant, and I was like, what is a coup attack? And I turned around to my friend and she said, okay, so a coup attack is when the military takes over the government. I was like, okay, wait, hold on, this is serious. This is serious. This is not jokes. Because we're like, okay, we need to be prepared so they can come. We thought the military will just come into our house and just invade us. So we're like, all right, let's get dressed, let's be prepared. If we have to do something, we'll do it. At that moment, the presenter for Ankara, there was nothing on TV, and then she popped up. She was speaking, and I was like, okay, while we were watching it, I was like, is this real? it was just shocking. We were just watching it, and I just stood there and just watching her and listening to her. I'm recording her as well to make sure like I have this information, like no matter what. I just wanted to keep it and just show it maybe to my kids or something. I don't know why I was recording it, but I was so shocked. I'm just there recording it. I'm listening to what she's saying.
Bu metnin tüm Türkiye Cumhuriyeti kanallarında yayımlanması Türk Silahlı Kuvvetleri'nin bir emridir. Türkiye Cumhuriyeti'nin değerli vatandaşları sistematik bir şekilde sürdürülen...
This is it. I think there is a military coup attack and I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to live in my country. If what's going to happen, I have no idea, but there must be something. There has to be something. And then after she read her speech, she made her announcement, TV blanked out. Everyone freaked out. And we waited, and then no sign, the president or no information was given just yet. And then my parents called me. And they're like to me, you better be home, do not leave. And I was like, oh no, we're just gonna go get water and bread. And they're like to me, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, don't worry, don't stress, I'm not going anywhere. And my mum was crying. She was like, make sure you're safe, make sure you're safe. I'm safe. My dad was like, look, Gonja, you need to make sure you're at home. And I was like, Dad, don't worry, I got this. Like, and I kind of like, maybe consciously or unconsciously, kind of said a farewell. Like I said, all right, you know, take care of yourself. I love you guys. If anything happens, you know that I'm your favorite daughter and like you guys are my favorite. And that was scary. That was like, I was like, wow, like this is my first farewell to my parents. I don't know if it was, as I said, I'm not sure if it was, you know, consciously, my mind was speaking. And then after I shut the phone, I went into the lounge room, and then the president was up. And he said, okay, like I need people to get onto the streets, get there, and we need to fight back. We have to fight against these people, the military. We need to fight against them.
Yönelik bu harekete karşı inanıyorum ki milletçe vereceğimiz...
That's all I needed. And I was like, all right, we're getting up, get up now. And we're like, all right, where are we going? Should we go to the bridge? Should we go to the airport? Or should we go to TRT? And I'm like, okay, so if we go to the bridge, it'll take long, or to the airport, it'll take much longer. So I'm like, let's try TRT, as in our workplace. Let's try our workplace, and then we'll see. If it's okay there, we'll go to the bridge. So we jumped onto the cab, and then we drove. Cab went up, and then I was, just before I got out of the cab, like I was opening my door, I'm looking at my workplace, and there was an army, one soldier walking, and I was like, oh my God, what? I opened the door, I got out, and I just looked at him, and I got my phone, and I'm just recording him, and I'm like, what is this, what's going on? And I saw a soldier, one soldier, and then when I just leaned a bit, there was more soldiers walking. I looked around, I'm like, okay, this is serious. Like, okay, there is military in my workplace, and there's 7 people trying to communicate with these soldiers. I was more shocked, I was disappointed. I was very shocked and disappointed. While I was waiting, a cop car came. But the cop car didn't stop, and it reversed back, and it left. That really scared me. And I was like, well, we're on our own. There's no one protecting us, only God, no one else. Eventually, people started coming. And we're like, all right, great, more people coming, more people coming. In 15 minutes, there was like 25 people. And I was like, all right, good, this is really good. And it got me happy. I was like, this is really good. And when I got there, a civilian was talking to one of the soldiers. As I watched the civilian and the soldier speak the same language, I was nothing but disappointed, because they're sharing the same nationality, the same flag, the same language, and they're understanding each other, but they're not understanding each other. it was very confusing because I just didn't understand what was the reason. After I kind of was just a little running around with my camera and just recording everything, back in my head I'm like, okay, this is not funny. This is not like a show that you should record. This is serious and everyone needs to see this. So I started, you know, sending it to my friends, like through, you know, social media. I just wanted everyone to see what was going on, and it was happening right here, right now. One person was screaming, you know, you're our heroes. You are our, you know, you've done so much for our country. You know, we're in this together. You know, come here, come forward, and I'm sure everything will be fixed. Why are you doing this? You shouldn't be doing this. We love you. You're our heroes. You know, you've been protecting our country, and now it's the time to protect our country again. While the other one was, you know, swearing because of anger, because of disappointment. So you've got two people with different approach, but for the same reason. And then out of nowhere, one man, while they were talking, one man jumped onto the truck. One civilian jumped onto the truck, and then out of nowhere, guns started shooting. We started running. So we kind of we lay down on the road. I was very I wasn't upset. I was I was so angry. Like I needed to take my anger out because I was just annoyed at these so-called Turkish military force and what they've done, what they're doing to these Turkish civilians.
Currently, everyone's on the fucking ground because I fired.
غونجه kalkma ya. Amadın abi.
I'm fine. Booyah! I'm here! Come here, come here! Come here, give me! Wait! Just sit down on the floor, man.
Yeah, it was just firing, like it's very normal, you know, shooting guns at a Turk is shooting another Turk, and a military is shooting against the civilians. We lay down there for about 5 minutes. It didn't stop, so we had to kind of run towards the car so we felt a bit more safe. So we're like, okay, we need to run. If it fires against us, if we get shot, we get shot. There's nothing that we can do. So we got up, kind of, you know, leaning towards the road. We got up, we just stood up there and just ran towards the cars and just stood behind the cars. And then I screamed out my other friend's name and said, where are you? Like, as long as 3 of us were together, I was fine. Because before we left to go to our workplace, all of our parents said, we will never forgive you if anything happens to you. And that was running through my mind, and it was like my parents, their parents, as long as we're fine, we've got no issues at the moment. Because you need to, when you're in that state, you care about everyone, but you need to care about the people that, you know, have been in your life more than all these people. Okay, we'll wait here, we'll watch it, but what can we do? There was basically nothing. When we're there, I thought we were doing nothing. But later on, I realized, yeah, we did something. People came, more people came. And at that moment, that's when the jets started flying past. And one jet flew. I've never heard anything like that. Never, that loud. It was so loud. And I was like, if it fires, we're gone. Because it flew over our heads and I felt it. So we kind of like ducked each other. It was just different. It was something that I wish I never lived, but I'm glad that I lived because it was an eye opener for how things run. How people can be so arrogant and selfish and not human. no matter what, if anyone asked me again when I was recording through all my social media, what are you doing there? Get out of there. Don't be there. Are you stupid? What's your, like, why, you know? And I was like, no, what do you mean, why? I need to be here. I need to be here. We all need to be here. And it wasn't because I was trying to be, even after it, it's not because I was just showing people, oh, you know, I was there. No, it was because this is our country. I can lose this city. I can lose Istanbul. Yeah. I remember when I first stepped foot to Istanbul and fell in love with the Bosphorus Bridge and how it just mesmerized me with its art, form of art, and it was amazing. It was fascinating. I was intrigued by its water, its air, its people, its culture. It was just amazing, and I fell in love with it instantly. It's the only city that actually brings two continents together, Asia and Europe. You don't really see that everywhere, and it's honestly amazing. Sitting by the water and just sipping on your tea, that's all you have to do, and you'll feel amazing. You don't need to go home. You don't need to sit at a very classy restaurant or do something. You can just sit down on one spot on the bench and just watch the sea, the Bosphorus Bridge, and feel amazing and feel that comfort that this is home. It's just that it's little details that's important, and those little details mean so much. It makes Istanbul. Just go have coffee, and I'm guaranteeing you, you'll feel like it's just very, I don't know, like very flowy. You'll feel very like, as I said, you can't explain it. I'm lost in words. There's so much to talk about. There's so much history. There's so much culture. The way people talk, walk, it's so different, but you love it because that makes Istanbul, or that makes our country. Everywhere is just mesmerizing. You fall in love. I fall in love with this city every day. I can't explain that. It's the best feeling. Just sitting there, listening to the prayer, watching it, like just watching the other side and having tea is probably the best feeling. Maybe because I'm Turkish, maybe, but when I ask other people that have actually, came to Istanbul or live in Istanbul that's not Turkish, they say the same thing because they've experienced it, they lived it, they've also wandered around Istanbul, the streets and the culture. They've absorbed what they had to, and that's why when they turn around and say what I feel and what I think, I'm like, yes, that's right. We're on this. We're both in love with Istanbul. So it's not because I'm Turkish. It's because this city just captures you. It actually captures you. Until you're in that situation, until you're in that environment, no one will be able to understand you, why you did it. You can't explain that because it's not why, it's I have to, I need to. It had to be done. that just got to me. I was like, no chance. Like, I'm gonna have my Turkish coffee next morning at that bridge. That's all. I was like, I'm gonna be here until I know that this country is safe. And I never knew that I was so patriotic. Like, I never knew I loved my country this much. That day, 15th, that's the day that I found out that I really love my country, and I'm so proud to be who I am today, and that I am a Turkish citizen. But yeah, it was a very disappointing, experience. But I'm glad, because there's countries that have lost there's people that have lost their country. There's people that they can't even fly over to their countries because of the war, of what's happening. But thank God I saw that, and that if we are one, and if we actually fight back, we stood up for something. And we're here because of all those people that love their city, love their country, that, they're so proud to wave their flags around and speak Turkish. And thank God that I experienced that. Ancestors actually formed this country through peace and serenity. And you can see that trace everywhere. You can see what our ancestors left behind through their traces, through their shadows, and you can see this everywhere. When you look at the silhouette of Istanbul or our country, some might see just a mosque, and some might see an architect. It's a form of architecture, a form of art. But we see it as a civilization. We see people, we see the Ottoman, we see history, we see much more broad. My name is غونجه. I live in this city.